Hi, today we are going to discuss about Python, the first unit of Anna University Syllabus Regulation 2017. In this video, I will cover only one topic. I said. The first one is the problem solving. The unit name is problem solving techniques. And what do you mean by a problem solving? Problem solving is a systematic approach to define the problem and creating number of correct solutions. And this problem solving process starts with the problem specifications and it will end with the correct result or correct program. So this is basically called as a problem solving. And we have several problem solving techniques. The problem solving techniques we will express it in the form of 4 types. The first one is algorithms, second one is flowcharts, third one is pseudocode, and the last one is programs. In this video we will cover only the algorithms part. Algorithms. What does mean by an algorithm? An algorithm is a sequence of instructions or it is a step-by-step procedure for solving a problem. We have several rules in writing an algorithm. The first rule is algorithm should be written in simple English. It should not be complex. And the second one, each and every instruction should be precise. That is, it should be up to the point and it should not be unambiguous. And the third one is it should not be repeated infinitely, and the algorithm should conclude after a finite number of steps. It should not repeat infinitely. So the next one is it should have an endpoint, and the last one is desired result should be obtained only after the algorithm terminates. The desired result should not be driven in the middle of the algorithm. So the end of the algorithm only we should get the desired outcome or desired output. And the next one is the qualities of a good algorithm. We have 3 main factors for deriving the qualities of an algorithm. The first one is the time. If I write an algorithm and that algorithm takes very lesser time for executing, then that algorithm is the better algorithm. And the next factor is the memory. If my algorithm occupies only a lesser amount of memory, then it is better. And the last one is accuracy. I can write, or the people may give several types of algorithms, multiple solutions for a particular problem. So we have to analyze which one is more accurate, and we have to choose that and apply it for solving our problem. These are the 3 main qualities of a good algorithms or writing a good algorithm. Next one is building blocks of an algorithm. Basically, an algorithm is a step-by-step procedure or a blueprint or a plan for writing a computer program. Inside this algorithm, we have 4 types of building blocks. The first building block is the statements. And the next one is states, third one is control flow, and the fourth one is functions. We can write algorithm based on any of the building block. First, we will discuss about the statements. A statement. Generally, what is a statement? It is a line or it is a simple instruction. A statement is a simple sentence written in algorithm for solving a specific purpose or for solving a specific task. So, these statements may consist of 4 types of statements. First one is assignment statement, next one is input statement, next one is output statement, and the last one is comment statement. In the example, the first line, that is read the value of A. Here we are going to get the value of A from the user. So it is an input statement. And next one, calculate C equal to A plus B. Here we are going to calculate or add the value of A and B, and in turn we are going to assign the value to C. So this statement is called as an assignment statement. And the last one is the output statement. Why? Because we are going to display the value of C to the user. So we have discussed all the 3 statements with an example. But the last one, what do you mean by a comment statement? Here in this slide we have highlighted three statements in red. These statements are called as the comment statement. This comment statement will not get executed in the program. This comment statement is used only to enhance the readability of the user. And the next one is states. The states, each and every algorithm will definitely have a start state and end state. Next one is control flow. Here, the control flow is used to determine what section of code is to run in a program at a given time. So, there are three types of flows. The first one is sequential control flow. Next one is selection or conditional control flow. The last one is looping or repetition control flow. We will discuss it with a flow chart. In the next videos, we will discuss how to write a flow chart and what is the use of a flow chart, how to draw it and how to declare each and everything, etc. First, we will discuss about the sequence statements. Sequence statements is the last one here. Here we have three boxes. Inside these boxes we will have the statements or instructions. Here consider, in the first statement I am assigning A equal to 10. In the next statement I am going to add the value of A with 1. This is the next one, A equal to A plus 1, and at the last I am going to print the value of A. So here all the three statements is executed one by one, so it is called as a sequential control flow. Here see this one, here the sequential control flow is used to perform the action one after another. Only one step is executed once and it is a top to bottom approach. Here in this example I am considering to add two numbers. First we have to start the program, that is it is the state of the program, and next one we have to get input from the user. How many inputs I am going to get here is 2 inputs, and the next one, third line, is I am going to add both the values, that is number 1 plus number 2, and I am assigning the added value to the variable sum. And the last one is display sum, that is I am going to print the value. And this is the sequential flow. In this sequential flow I am not skipping any of the steps. First I am starting the program, next I am getting the value, and next adding the numbers, and next one I am displaying it. Here the same thing is written as an algorithm. The first one is start, next one is reading the input of num1, third one reading the value of num2, fourth one calculate sum, fifth one print sum, and the sixth one is stop. Here from line 1 till line 6 I am not skipping any of the lines in between. This is called sequential control flow. And the next one is selection or conditional control flow. That is the first diagram. This is the sequential or conditional control flow. Here I am going to give the condition. Based on this condition, either it will move to the left side or it will move to the right side. This is decided only based on this condition. And here if it executes the left side, then right side statements will not be executed, and same way if it executes the right side statement, then the left side will not get executed. Here consider, the selection flow allows the program to make choices between two alternate paths based on the condition. It is called as the decision structure. The basic structure for writing a conditional control flow is this. Here we are going to use the keywords if and else. If we have to write the condition is true, if the condition is true, then perform some specified action. Else, if the condition is not true, then perform some other actions. Fine. Here see this example. This is to find the greater number. We are going to get 2 inputs from the user and we have to check which number is the greatest and print that number. Here first one, I have to start the program. Next I have to read the value of A, and next one I have to read the value of B. Next I have to check the condition whether A is greater than B or not. If it is true, then line 4.1 will be executed. If the condition is false, then line 4.2 will be executed. If line 4.1 gets executed, then 4.2 will not get executed. Vice versa. If 4.2 executed, then 4.1 will not get executed. So this is called conditional control flow. Next one, the third one is the repetition control flow. Here in the previous example, we will we will execute the statement based on the condition. Here the same way, but with a small change. We are going to consider the condition, but if the condition is true, then we are going to execute some statements inside it until the given condition gets false. Okay, and see this example. Here I am starting the program and I have given some condition. If the condition is true, then the statement block will be executed until the condition gets false. If the condition is false, then it will automatically come outside of that particular control flow. And next one, we will discuss with an example, algorithmic example. Here the scenario is to print the value from 1 to n. From 1 to n. N is the limiting factor. I may consider it as a 5, 10, 500,000, anything. Then if I give the limiting factor as 10, then it will print the values from 1 till 10. So first I have to start the program. Next one, I have to read the value of the limiting factor. Maybe here I may consider it as 10 or 15, anything. And next one, the third one is initialize I as 1. So I am initializing the control variable, loop variable. First one, for the first time when it gets executed, the value of I is 1. Next one, I am going to repeat the step 4.1 until this condition is less than 10, until the statement becomes true. Once it becomes false, then it will come out of this loop and execute the last line, that is line number 5. Fine. And next one, the last one is the functions. A function is a block of organized reusable code. And what do you mean by a function is, here in this repetition control flow, we are going to repeat the same number of statements until the specified condition is true. Here also we are going to do the same thing, but consider if I want to execute the same line of codes 9 or 10 times inside my program in different locations, then this repetition control flow is not that much helpful. So we are moving to functions. Function is also called as methods or subroutines. And the elements inside the functions are, first element is the name for the function. Next one, we have to define that function. And the third one, we should have a formal parameter. It is optional. And the last one is, we should have a result type. And this is the basic syntax of writing a function. First, we should have a function name, the parameters, function statements, and we have to end the function. And see this example. This is the basic simple example for writing functions. First one is main function. We are having two blocks, that is the main function and the calling sub function. From the main function, we have to call the sub function so that I can call this at any number of times inside my programs and from any locations. So first step in the main function, I am going to start the program, and next one I have to call the function add, and the last one is stop. And in the sub function, once the step 2 of main function gets executed, then it will come to this sub function and it will execute all the statement inside it and then only it will move to step 3. So inside this subfunction, the first step is function start, that is as usual your start function start, and next one we have to get 2 values from the user. Third one, add those 2 values and assign value inside another variable. Fourth step, we have to print the value of C, and next one we have to return the value, and this one is optional. Here I am not having any parameters inside this function, so the third step and fourth step, that is this one and this one, is optional. Fine. Any doubts? Thank you. If you have any doubts, kindly post it in the comment section. Thank you.